Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Alain. It is Book Saturday. We got a few books to go over today. Want to welcome you to joining. I'm drinking out of my book cup this morning. Hope that I can share a book or two that maybe you'll decide to read. Maybe it will just inspire you to read something else. Reading can be so fantastic for our lives. We can learn, we can be entertained, we can be disturbed, we can be moved. Reading can do so much. It can take us to different worlds, different places on our world, different worlds altogether. So I encourage you to get out and read more. One thing you should be reading, the Enjoy Life Safely newsletter. Sign up at enjoylifesafely.com. It'll be going out this weekend. Good stuff to help you stay safe, enjoy life, and be exceptional, with a few of this and that and a little other thrown in once in a while. So be sure to sign up for that. Let's look at the books today. Get Healthy Now by Gary Null. I've had this on the shelf for a while and only sort of looked at it a little and decided to read it through. And, it's a big book. I mean, 1,000 pages when you look at all the resources and stuff in the back, probably about 800 and some pages before you get to the resources. And there's topics and chapters on a little bit about everything regarding health. And so I skimmed through some chapters because they weren't relevant to me and my health. But there was a lot of just good general information. I mean, it wasn't a fantastic book, but it was a good book. And there was a lot of natural health type of remedies and things. So not a lot pointing you toward the doctor or medicine, but things to help you be healthy without doctors and medicine. But, it starts off, the number of first chapters are all on nutrition, about what we're going to eat and basic nutrition stuff. Then you get into taking charge of your health. And there's chapters on detoxification and weight management, vegetarianism, which sort of the book promotes more. Doesn't say absolutely have to become a vegetarian, but it does promote a vegetarian diet. A little bit on exercise. Then you get into different things like depression and alcoholism and anxiety disorders, eating disorders, insomnia. Again, chapters on a whole lot of different things. Some of them were completely irrelevant to me. And so, you just sort of skim those chapters. Then you get into things like arthritis and osteoarthritis and pain management and getting into heart, blood, and circulation, heart disease and diabetes and different allergies, things on kids. The part 10, is getting up in here into women's health issues, pregnancy and some of that. I didn't really need to read those chapters. We're past that stage in our lives. So we're not really worrying about getting pregnant and all that. And then there's the end where there were some special concerns to men, sexual dysfunction in men, male infertility, prostate conditions. Then you get into some health and beauty and longevity kind of stuff, brain aging, hair care. So a lot of different topics about your health, very general information about them, but some good information. So it was a decent book. Reminded me of some things I knew, learned a few new things, a couple things to maybe incorporate into my lifestyle. So not a bad book, so it wasn't bad at all. Next book going to talk about My Life, Earvin Magic Johnson. Really enjoyed this. I read it a long time ago when it first came out and I got it, which was 92. So I read it in the early 90s when this first came out. Always was a fan of Magic Johnson, one of my favorite basketball players in the top 5. Number 1 and 2 would have to be Julius Earvin and Pistol Pete Maravich. The Dr. J and Pistol are my 2 favorites. Magic probably comes in, him and Michael Jordan are 3 and 4, right? And so really like this book. Told his upbringing and, the battles between him and Bird and their relationship because they were playing at the same time. And Bird, also a fantastic basketball player. Then, the ending talked about when he got the HIV virus and how that ended his basketball career, even though he did get to go play on the Olympics after that diagnosis and was on the dream team. And just was very honest and forthright about everything. So enjoyed this book. If you are a basketball fan, if you're a Magic Johnson fan, really good book. I wanted to read it one more time as I'm paring down my library. Now I'll be donating it, but did enjoy that and do like Magic Johnson. I just saw something recently where he just entered the billionaire club. Him and like Taylor Swift, Dick Wolf from Law and Order, they all recently became billionaires and are on the new billionaire list, which shows that Magic has done some pretty good things after basketball. Smart man, smart businessman, and doing some good in the world as well. So I really like him, and it was a fun book to read. Obviously, it was written right after the Olympics, so all of this business stuff and his career and different things since then, not in this book. Going to say good morning to Jay and Vicky. Appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for showing up and saying hi. Third book today, a pictorial biography of Ike. Again, I had this on the shelf, wanted to sort of read it, and then it's, paring down the library. I've studied Patton a lot. I mean, I've read big, giant biographies of Patton. I've never read that much about Ike. Obviously, you learn about Eisenhower when you're reading about Patton or reading other things about World War II because of his significance. And then when he became president, I knew very little about his presidency. So I liked this book, and it's just sort of a primer on learning about him. A Time Life book, a lot of pictures, but some good, interesting information about his life. And I'm looking forward now to probably reading a larger biography and learning more about him. Do like him. Again, I think he was the right person at the right time during World War II to help lead the forces to a victory. And so as a president, I would like to learn a little bit more about. I think, during the time that he was president, not a lot really as big happened where you don't like have the big moments where you did after him with, John F. Kennedy with some of the things he did and then being assassinated. Johnson then got it, we're in the Vietnam War, and then Nixon, who, we all know how that ended. And so I'd like to learn a little bit more about Ike's presidency and read more about him. And this was just a really good primer to whet my taste of like, I want to know more about him. Going to say hello to a couple people. Dixon's here. Good morning, Dixon. No doubt inflation helps make multimillionaires into billionaires. Well, that's probably true too. And Dixon says, I like Ike. Yep. And good morning, John. Appreciate you guys being here as well. So those are the three books I wanted to share this morning on Book Saturday. Good little pictorial biography on Ike from Time Life Books. Just was a fun, quick read for me to know a little bit more about Ike. The My Life by Magic Johnson, really enjoyed just because I really like magic, and it was cool to read again about his life and how he grew up and playing ball and got into college and got into the pros and won the championships and won the back-to-back championships with the Lakers. And then learn a little bit that he contracted HIV from sleeping around. He has no idea who he got it from. And he admits that he slept around a lot. They all were doing it, right? And he paid the price for it. And thankfully, he didn't get AIDS and die from it. But he's been a big proactive person about that. And it's just good read if you like Magic Johnson, which I do. And then the third book, Get Healthy Now, really big book on general health things that I thought it was a good book. I said, not a fantastic book. I did skim through some, like I said, because a number of the chapters weren't relevant to me, but it had some good general stuff on health. I think you can find a lot of it in other places too, but I enjoyed it. It reminded me of some things, made me think about a couple other things that I didn't know. So good book as well. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you like the reviews. And again, I don't want people to read everything that I read. If something I share sparks you as interesting, read it, yes. If not, I hope it inspires you to read something else. Just get out and read for enjoyment, read for learning, and read that newsletter you can get at enjoylifesafely.com. With that, I will say, make it a spectacular Saturday, and I'll see you tomorrow.